What's up, guys? We're Morbid Curiosities, bringing y'all another episode. I'm Nicholas Ewers, and with me is the lightweight champion of the world, the morbid mistress of mayhem herself.
Mercedes Martinez, thank you, the nefarious nomad, the numbing nightmare, and your next door necromancer.
Next door necromancer. That's going to be on a t-shirt. If I didn't say that already, I'm going to get that. And no one's going to understand it, but it's going to be unique to me, and I'll
I
get
would
it.
buy that shirt.
Hell yeah. You're just going to steal my nickname that you gave me?
I mean, it's not gonna have like an arrow pointed up to my face. It's just gonna say your next door necromancer. They people could see it and think it's a band or a movie. Not
It could
everything
just
is
have a
about you, Nicholas.
I, I I feel like it is about me. It's my nickname. um, it could have a crude drawing of my face on it. Just like I could get like a really like a child who's just really bad at drawing and be like, "Here, draw me."
Like a little stick figure of you.
Yeah, maybe someone missing fingers or something. I'll have them give it a whack. Um, Today, guys, we're talking about Bride of Chucky. Um, Going forward, we got spoilers for this one. Well, we got spoilers for all of them, but this one is going to be particularly spoil filled, I guess. Um,
Hopefully everyone watches it and they have like a little bit of respect for it compared to the jump from part 3 because we all know that was trash. If you haven't heard in our last episode.
yeah, part. Oh man, part three is it doesn't work at all. Are we fully getting into Bride of Chucky right now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, let's
Ye-
go.
Yeah, man, this movie is such a good, like, an appropriate and good course correction from the nothing, like, trash that we had to watch. Like, trash almost feels like it's too good of a word to use for
Mhm.
Child's Play 3. And Child's Play 3 isn't like an outright, like, offensively bad movie. You and I talked a little bit more off mic at the end of the episode, just being like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's like really, it is just a nothing movie, and it kind of becomes difficult to really engage with or talk about because of that. But not, not Bride of Chucky. I found this movie to be pretty delightful. I thought this movie was a blast. I was a little nervous going into it because I was like, it could go either way. And I have some gripes with the movie, of course, you know, but
Mhm.
it this thing works, this thing flows, and it sings. Yeah. What are you thinking about Bride of Chucky? Where's the sitting for you? I'd imagine we're gonna rank the Chuckies at the end of this.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. We have to. We have to.
yes, you don't have to give away your ranking, but
Okay.
where are you feeling Bride of Chucky wise compared to the ones we've already talked about?
It's like mid tier for me from the original to now. I am a fan of it. If you didn't see it already, you could kind of see it. I have like a Bride of Chucky mug right here. I
Damn.
actually, yeah, I bought this for my mom some time ago and I stole it back from her because I kind of wanted it back. But I thought it
We
would be
should take
fitting.
take a picture of that. We'll post that when this episode drops. We'll have to send a
Hell yeah.
reminder.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do that. Um, but yeah, when I first watched this film way back whenever I did, I was a little I think I was still a little nervous by it just because of how Chucky was put together. He looked a lot more sinister in this, but now that I can rewatch it however many times, he just looks adorable to me. I don't know. I love his new look.
You must have built up some type of like desensitization, if that's a real word, or if I might have made that up. I
No, I get
found
it.
I found Chucky to be absolutely gross and like hard to look at depending on the angle you were seeing him from. Like his skin like not fully fitting in certain areas and his hair being stapled. It looks like it's painful to be in that physical state.
The funny thing too is you would think that I would feel the same way because not to sound mean or rude, but if I saw someone like that in real life, yes, I would be so creeped out.
With
Just
stitches and staples in their face, you'd be
yes,
like,
exactly,
"W
with staples
w"
in their face.
be like, "Did
Um,
they fall into an industrial fan or
no.
something?" I think that's what happened to Chucky in Child's
Right,
Play 3.
right. Yeah, I have that weird phobia of holes, so if I see things that are
The
incomplete,
the Shia
um
LaBeouf movie?
no, that the legit phobia of holes.
Mm. Oh, okay. I thought the movie traumatized you. No, I'm kidding.
No, I can never think of the name and I don't like looking it up because then it shows you examples of holes.
Pictures of
Ty
holes.
trypophobia? Yeah, yeah, now I'm seeing, like, little snippets of things with holes, so
Wait, so
no.
give me examples of this. I'm curious.
Crocs.
I'm sure the listeners are. Wait, what?
Crocs. Like those little slippers with holes in them.
What about the holes? Is it the
It
exposure to the
just
feet?
no, it's just seeing holes, I don't know, it looks weird to me. Um,
So like a well. Like, would a well
no,
bother you?
no, that's like a singular hole, so that's fine, but if I see multiple holes, yeah, that's when it freaks me out.
Oh, almost so like a cartoon block of cheese.
I can handle that. Like even seeing cheese, like actual cheese with some holes in it, like I can handle that. But I think it's just where I feel like holes should not be, then it really freaks me out. I don't know what I saw, but I saw a set or this flower thing and there was like a little honeycomb looking thing in there and it oh my god, I had to run in the other aisle. That was horrible.
It like kind of chills you a little bit.
Yeah, it's just disturbing to see. It's bleh. Can we not talk about holes anymore?
Oddly enough, I can relate and really understand what you're talking about. Like I haven't fully like thought about it or delved into this idea within myself, but imagining the things you're talking about and like the idea of like multiple holes, it does unsettle and kind of chill me in a way. Like my hair stood up on my arms, like imagining the honeycomb thing, or I imagine like a wasp's nest or something. Um,
Mhm.
it I get what you're coming from, and I understand the feeling, and I think I might like not having to like leave the room. Like I don't experience it to that degree, but I think I like experience a little bit of what you're describing. That's probably a pretty common
Ugh.
thing.
I
Like,
think it is. I know a few people that supposedly have the same fear, but yeah, I might say that I have that fear, but I never remember the name and someone else is like, "Oh yeah, you have I already forgot the word. Trypophobia,
titryptophobia, I think. Titryptophobia.
titanoboa, whatever."
It's almost
Um
like a dinosaur kind of.
exactly, exactly.
Tetraptoraptor or something.
Um, but no, back to Chucky. I love the way he looks. He looks cute in this one. The comparable to the first one, he looks I don't know. I like the little edge he has. And it's funny because his face is all stapled together. Um
His eyes
his
all like fucking bugging out and shit. What
his
are you
eyes
talking
bugging
about?
out,
Cute.
like, it looks cute because you have all of that fucked up shit on his face, like, trying to, like, just hold it together, but then he has his little good guy overalls on still, and they're all tattered and everything. I don't know, I like it. I like this one.
It is iconic. I it's unsettling. It sticks with you, definitely. Tiffany is a bit more of my vibe. I'm really digging
Of
her
course
look.
she is. Of course she is.
Yeah,
Of course you are.
yeah. But doll Tiffany, that's where it's really
Yeah.
doing
Hell yeah.
doing something for me. Um,
Hell yeah.
like So I kind of want Tiffany gets a really good dress up moment. I appreciate that the movie fully stopped to give her a dress up moment, just like
Mhm,
Chucky for 3 out of 4 movies so far gets a really interesting and cool like opening. Well, the first movie doesn't really have an opening credit sequence. So between 2 and 4, I guess are the only ones with good like construction of Chucky opening credits. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah, I like totally jumbled that, but yeah, her dress up scene is really well done. I'm glad they gave her that moment, and I really enjoyed her putting together Chucky to Living Dead Girl. I fucking
Yeah.
I was like, movie, you're really that's in my playlist right now. I grew up Rob Zombie. If you consider him like metal or hard rock, he's like one of the first bands of that like type that I listened to. The Hellbilly Deluxe album. I like in 4th or 5th grade whenever I got it, I listened to it all the time. Living Dead Girl and Dragula are like my songs, and when that came out I'm like this movie just wants me to be on its side. And I like, when you get done with that setting up Chucky scene and we're with the actors and they're actually talking, I was able to kind of forgive how atrocious Don Mancini's dialogue is in this fucking movie. Just
Yeah.
because of that Living Dead Girl opening. Yeah, I'm like, Don Mancini, what it's not like he was like an Oscar winning writer and like putting out like high caliber dialogue in the first 3 movies, but it feels like a steep drop off even from 3, like the dialogue that's in this movie. It almost feels like purposefully bad.
Yeah, it kind of does. You see how it's going into the more comedy side of this, even though they were trying to still keep the slasher feel with it. Um, yeah, even with the little Chucky chant when Tiffany is trying to resurrect Chucky, it made me laugh just because they shortened it where she just and then says awake at the end. Um
These chains keep getting lazier and lazier, I feel like
they
from movie to
do.
movie.
They do, and
Like
I'm pretty certain that when Chucky is trying to swap Tiffany's soul into the doll's body, he says "andale," like for Spanish. I'm pretty damn sure he did. So I I should write down or at least listen to how all the chants are within the movies as we watch them and see the differences because yes, they get worse.
there's a video with all of the chants. That's how I picked the chant that I said on last week's episode. It was
Oh,
from the
okay, cool.
second movie. It's also from Bride of Chucky. It's the chant that I think it might be the one Chucky says. Does Chucky do a chant at the very end of the movie
Yes.
when they get the thing?
Yes, I think so. I'm
I
pretty sure he
think
does.
it might be that chant. I want to say it's a Chucky chant though. It's either that or the one with Tiffany. He drops um the line that I did last week. But yeah, they are just playing fast and loose with these fucking chants in each movie.
Yeah, and that drives me crazy. And I don't know. It was funny to hear Tiffany saying it. Um just cuz her voice, even when she says the name Chucky, she doesn't say Chucky, she says Chacky. Well, to
Mm.
me that's how it sounds like Chacky.
Why doesn't she call him Charles? They were in a relationship. That's like his actual name. I feel like they're beyond nicknames.
Because no one is on that bandwagon of Charles except you and Tyler from part 3. Stop trying to make Charles happen. It's never
It,
going to happen.
it's his legal name, and you made it happen. You informed me, and I was like, I like it as a name. It works.
You just like government names. You don't like nicknames. You don't like the art of nicknames. I can't call you your nickname anymore, no?
I was talking. Yeah, you can call me whatever you want. The
Nope, nope. We
The
sealed
nefarious
sealed
necromancer.
No, I take it back. It's revoked.
Damn. Well, that lasted
Let's
about 20 minutes.
let's see if you can earn that back.
Yeah.
Um,
um what's it called? I was actually talking with someone today about kid names and I was like, I kind of like Charles.
oh my god. Of course you do. Of
Yeah.
course you do. But
Yeah.
I don't like Tiff as a nickname. Like just saying Tiffany, that sounds pretty. That sounds better. And I do fully agree with you on her setup. She was so she made that doll so fucking cute. I love it. I
Mhm.
remember watching this movie with my mom when it came out too. And when she watched that part, like my mom loved leather coats and boots, and I think that's why I love those too. Um but she would always dye her hair and paint her nails, and she'd even smoke too. So the fact that this doll did all of that, she was like, "Oh my god, that's so cute." And so now I can have more of an appreciation for Tiffany now. But yeah, the way they had that set up, that was cute. So both dolls are adorable.
Have you ever dressed up like Tiffany for Halloween?
Did I? No. I dressed up
That
as Carrie, but I know that's different.
On your wedding, did you dress up as the wedding Tiffany doll before she does the makeover?
Oh no, I dressed in black on my wedding.
I knew you did that, but I was kind of hoping you would lie for the listeners,
Oh shit, I'm
you know.
sorry.
Wha-
Well, they would know that's a damn lie. If
Yeah,
people who know me are listening, they know that I don't wear white. They
I
fucking
know
know.
it's improv though, you know. You
I'm bad
yes
at
and me.
improv. I was bad at improv. That's why I
What
never
about
did
those?
drama in high school.
You took 2 years of improv classes. What are you talking about?
Apparently, I have a worse memory than I thought I did because you know 2 years about my life that I don't remember.
See,
what
those
what is
improv classes paid off perfectly. That was a great yes and.
I am actually very
I
terrified
was
of improv though.
This podcast is improv, right? We're all just throwing shit at the wall and I'm heavily editing it. No, I'm
I mean, kind
kidding.
of, but half the time I'm just ripping on you and then talking about a movie. So it's not necessarily improv. It's not even me being witty. Like I envy everyone who is witty and who can naturally be funny.
I edit out everything I have to say to you, so it just sounds like you're mean to me the whole time.
Well, let's let the listeners decide. You guys, am I mean to Nicholas all the time? Am I really? Or does he deserve it? What do you guys think?
Wow.
Leave a review. Leave
Wow.
us a 5-star review.
Everybody deserves it in this point. Or not in this point. Jeez. Oh man.
I'm sorry, I threw you off.
You did throw me off. I'm like, wow, I deserve it just as much as fucking Andy's stepdad or foster dad in Child's Play 2. You wanna see me
I
get my
wouldn't
neck
say that
snapped.
much. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Who am I going to joke with on the podcast?
Uh, you could just do it by yourself. I think it'll be just as
It's not going
entertaining.
to be funny or entertaining if it's just me by myself. I wouldn't have anyone to bounce off jokes with. So
You just
here we
trash me
are.
when I'm not around.
No, I trash you on the pod. I wait until we're on mic.
I respect it. I
Yeah,
respect it.
yeah, definitely.
Mm,
Definitely.
let's see. Should we hop into some of these Bride of Chucky notes over here?
Yeah. Do you like the fact that they finally dropped the Andy story and jumped into Chucky and his love interest in this film?
Yeah, I thought it was really nice. It was a good change of pace, and like I said from the top of this episode, it felt like a really good course correction. I didn't realize this was going to be um a Chucky and his bride road trip movie to New Jersey. Like
Yeah.
it and it was, it's very smooth. You get in and out in like 90 minutes. The setup is pretty clean. You're introduced to Chucky pretty fast. You're killing people at a pretty consistent pace. They're trying to like have spectacle. The characters that are in this thing are just like barely characters. I almost forgot everybody who was in this that wasn't Chucky or Tiffany the moment I stopped watching this movie. And I
Mhm.
watched it again earlier today, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh yeah, there's like this guy, like Needle Nose is like he
Yeah.
dies and I didn't even remember him." And but and that is like, kind of a trope of the late 90s, early 2000s horror movie. This movie kind of fits right into place with the era that it's in, like the time period that it came out in. But um I really bought into the Chucky and Tiffany road trip thing. It really worked for me in ways that I didn't think it would. And I looked on Letterboxd to check all the like ratings of the people that I follow, and everybody gave it like 3.5 to 4 stars. And I'm right there with this thing. This is like a very good course correction from Child's Play 3. It makes me wish that like Child's Play 3 didn't happen. It feels so weird. And they acknowledge Andy enough. I know I'm going on and on, but they in the opening credits that's enough that the Child's Play movies like really need.
Mhm. Speaking of opening credits, I loved how when the cop is in the evidence, what is it called? The evidence depository. Um
Yes.
when he's in there and you see all the nods to the other slashers, like you see Jason's mask, you see Michael's mask and Freddy's little hand, like his knives and everything.
And
Um
Leatherface's chainsaw.
yeah, like, you saw all of that, like, that was such a little charm that I loved.
I
Um,
I didn't know how I felt about it at first. I was like, is this them calling their shot? Does Chucky deserve to be up here with these guys?
of course he does. He's Chucky, or he's Charles.
Which of the slashers are you like all familiar with? Like, have you seen at least the core movie or movies of?
Um, Halloween, so Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. I've seen snippets of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I have seen the original, but I can't remember it right now. So, yeah,
So you've
those guys.
seen um a good some of the Friday the 13th movies?
Yeah, I've seen some.
Okay, so I feel like you're qualified enough to rank them. I could honestly rank them at this point except for Jason. I haven't seen anything Jason really. But
Mhm.
so what would your ranking be of these guys?
Oh, snap. So,
So
I
you're
would
putting Michael up
say,
top, right?
of course, Michael's up top, Chucky's second, Freddy Krueger is or yeah, Freddy Krueger is third. Uh what's his name from Texas? Leatherface is fourth, and then Jason is fifth.
Damn. Fuck Jason then. He's
Yeah, fuck
just
Jason. He takes
always getting
Manhattan.
shit on.
We don't do that. We don't fuck with that.
Yeah. You have an attachment to Manhattan now?
No, I don't. He's
You're like,
horrible.
this dude likes fucking camps, man. Like, what the fuck? Get over it, dude.
I
Leave your
know.
camp. I guess
Quit being a mama's boy.
you could say that about most of these people. Like, get over your fucking thing, your hang up with whatever it is. These are all just
Oh,
really insecure men who are hung up over something, except for Leatherface. I don't know what his deal is too much.
I want you to hold on to that thought just because that detail is um brought up in one of the future Child's Play films. So that was cool that you said that right now.
Which thought?
Just like these men, they just need to like kind of let it go.
Nice.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that. We'll get there. I'm excited now. More so.
Luck. Luckily, it's recorded, so I'll be able to play it back and
We're
jog my memory.
foreshadowing, unintentional foreshadowing. I feel like this also proves my love for ASMR when I'm sorry, I keep backpedaling. When Tiffany was putting Chucky together,
No,
it
we
kind of
can go all over the place. This movie doesn't really have a plot. It's just they're getting from here, going
mhm.
to here, and things happen, deaths occur.
More memorable deaths occur.
Yeah, the only real plot is like these two are being framed for all these deaths that the dolls do, and how are they going to get away? But that's not really driving anything. It's Chucky and Tiffany getting to Jersey. It's a road trip movie, not too plotty, so we can go out in whatever direction we want.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just watching it and thinking, wow, Chucky getting assembled back together is reminding me of Toy Story 2 when that old guy was there just freshening up Woody to be put on display or whatever. So back
That
to the
that's an
ASMR deal.
that's an incredible scene in Toy Story 2. I put together a video Um, that's now outdated because I've expanded this list, but it was my 100 all-time favorite movies. Check it out on YouTube at Nicholas Ewers. I put a good amount of work into that, but I'm gonna eventually do a new one when I hit like 2 or 300. But my Toy Story 2 clip, because that's on that list, is the scene you're talking about. I think that's just like a great like piece of art, that like
Mhm.
cleaning of Woody. It's so beautiful. I
It
just
is.
love looking at it.
Yeah, and I remember the first time watching it, I was so drawn into that scene and I didn't know why. And I was thinking, man, I'm weird if I really love this movie because of that scene alone. Um, but then as I got to talk about it with other people, they all love that scene too. So I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Hmm.
ASMR, ASMR.
Uh, Speaking of scenes that we dig, one scene I was really loving was Jennifer Tilly, Tiffany, her death scene in the bathtub when she's watching
Ooh.
Bride of Frankenstein. I guess
Hmm.
I didn't get a chance to watch Bride of Frankenstein before recording this, but I feel like that's the only association this movie has to that. I doubt Bride of Frankenstein is a road trip movie, but it
Probably
just
not.
doesn't feel like it would be. But um yeah, her watching Bride of Frankenstein, and then what is the mirroring happening? Frankenstein is saying like we must be killed or something, like we shouldn't be
or we
alive.
or we belong dead or something.
Yeah, we belong dead. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And
Yeah.
then the TV falls in the bathtub and electrocutes her. I thought Jennifer Tilly's performance in that scene was really like just wonderful. She was giving it her
Yeah.
all. She seemed like she was delighted to be in this movie. I'd like to watch interviews and like behind the scenes of her experience on this, but yeah, she seemed like she was really happy to be a part of this and really like enjoying it. I was delighted by her death scene.
Yeah, I love the death scene of her just because you can buy it. There are some like goofy movies or just some movies where you have someone dying and they're just it's too much. You could see how forcefully acted out it was. Whereas her, I don't know. I liked it. It wasn't obnoxious or anything. Nice and quick. I don't know. Yeah, she's definitely having a good time throughout this whole film. So that scene alone, I'm happy that they gave her a good death scene and not one that just felt rushed or anything.
Were there any deaths in this movie that you found particularly entertaining, or do you think it didn't have a whole lot going for it in that department? I'm actually looking at the people who all die right now.
I liked
Um
a lot of the deaths. The only one that I didn't feel that was um too thrilling was the officer in the beginning where she slits his throat. Um
mhm.
the rest of them they all have a pretty cool death scene. I even
I like
like when I like when Needle Nose the cop that's always fucking with them per the girl's uncle. Um he pulls them over. He's making a call to dispatch, and then Chucky puts that cloth in his gasoline tank and lights it on fire, and he smells the smoke, and then when he looks forward, he sees Chucky and Tiffany just waving to him, and then the car blows up. That I think that murder in there is my favorite one.
That I don't understand how people would think these two teenagers are capable of that. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, they did it! They blew that up! What the fuck?" They're like all over the news. I did kind of appreciate that though. The um sequel. What did Chucky call Tiffany? Did he call her kid? He was like, "Watch and learn, kid," or something like that.
Did he? I don't remember that. I know he says, like, "Watch and learn,"
He said some. He called her something
or
that I
learn
was like,
no, I think he said, "Learn from the master."
hmm. Yeah, but I really liked that little puppeteering that was happening there, seeing Chucky's little legs. I think he was crawling at one point.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
pretty
then
enjoyable.
he flicks off another guy who's just, getting high in his car, and he's like, "Whoa, super rude doll."
I didn't love that. I was like, God, I hate portrayals of stoners in movies. It's just it never feels like the people I actually know in real life.
Well, yeah, that actor himself was stupid, but the fact that Chucky was, like, flicking him off, I think I said the line wrong too, but, yeah, I thought
He,
that part was funny.
he got the line pretty accurate. He was just like, yeah,
Close to it. Rude fucking
rude
doll or
doll,
something.
man. Yeah,
Um,
I wasn't
yeah,
digging
I
that.
but I do, back to what you were saying about, like, the dialogue in here, I love all the interactions between Chucky and Tiffany, even when, um, they're in the car and Tiffany's telling him about, "Okay, like, stop killing people with a knife. You look like Martha Stewart with that thing." The way he just spits out, "Who the fuck is Martha Stewart?" I don't know why. That is my favorite line from here. And they go back and forth with killing people to see who does it better. I love that little friendly competition they have with each other.
Yeah, me too. I really dug that. You going back to the dialogue again, actually though. I wrote down a line. It seems like there was more effort put into Chucky and Tiffany. Like Don Mancini was having way more of a fun time writing them, and I don't know if he just felt like he had to write the human characters and just wrote it to get through it and was like, I know I got to put work my all into Chucky and Tiffany. But there was one line that was so like an exchange that was so awkward and weird between what's his is it Mr. Warren? Is that her uncle, Officer Warren,
Yeah.
and her boyfriend? He says he calls Officer Warren. He's like, "You fuck," and his line
Oh,
delivery is so
yeah.
weird.
It
It's
is.
yeah, and then the officer's like, "Yeah, but you won't. Not Jade anyway. Not tonight." And
Right.
I was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
No one talks like this in real life. That's your niece you're talking about too." That's so I was like, "Oh man." When that happened, I was like, "We might be in for a rough ride." But I was glad that that dialogue wasn't an indictment of the whole movie, because I ended up having a good time with it.
Yeah, that scene, every time I watch it, I was always looking at, what's his name? Jesse, her Jade's love interest, whatever. Trying to see if it was, like, bleeped over, like, if he said something else and they just condensed it down to, "Oh, you fuck," or whatever, because it
Yeah, if it
doesn't
was like an
sound right.
80-yard line. Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds so incomplete, and yeah, John Ritter's line back to him, that's so repulsive. Like, yeah, I get you're trying not to tarnish your job title, but dude, what the fuck, man? That was a horrible line. That really was.
Yeah, it was so weird. Um, so are you cool if we jump over to the end? I kind of want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we're already bouncing around anyway. Let's go. What you got?
Yeah. So I just really had a good time with them. So they basically we didn't kind of like tell everybody the framing of this movie, but they're basically Tiffany hires this like the boyfriend character that we were just talking about who awkwardly said you fuck. He said it with like a question. He's like, "You fuck?" You
Right.
know. It was very odd. But Tiffany, after they're already in doll form, calls the boyfriend and is basically like, "Hey, for 500, get us over to Jersey." He's like, "I want 1,000." They're like, "Okay, get us over to Jersey," because they're trying to get the amulet thing so they can turn back into humans. And so they end up all the way in Jersey, and like, so they're in an RV that they stole. This is where shit basically starts hitting the fan, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and from the moment Tiffany ends up in that oven, I was like, yes. I didn't realize that they fucked Tiffany up in this movie. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, we're gonna get like some like batshit like moments. It sounds like you enjoyed Burnt Tiffany. What are your thoughts on her?
I did because there was a few years that had went by where I didn't watch this film again. So I forgot about that part. Um, but yeah, when I saw the couple, Jade and Jesse, they were trying to basically manipulate Chucky and Tiffany to turn against each other. When Jade just kicks her in the oven. I was like, "Wait, what? I forgot that happened." And then it like clicked in my head like, "Oh yeah, she's like burnt to a crisp towards the end." I That whole scene just like was lost on me, but I loved it. Even their little banter back and forth when Tiffany was making Chucky dinner and he seems to be enjoying it. He even says, like he would have like married her a long time ago if he knew that's what marriage was about. But um just seeing them getting mad at each other and then just swearing at each other, I more dialogue of them that I loved. And I did watch some interviews of Jennifer Tilly too. um she was definitely enjoying her role in here. I thought it was pretty cool that when they were doing their voiceovers, her and Brad Dourif, their rooms were facing each other. That way they can actually have that feeling of having a legitimate conversation with each other. Like that make the movie so much better.
Yeah, they both had very good chemistry with each other, I thought. Their bantering and their bickering was really nice. And, he insulted her baking, but that cookie looked really good. I really
It
wanted a
did.
cookie after
It did.
watching that. Yeah, so
Hmm.
the disrespect to Tiffany, I didn't really appreciate it. Tiffany kind of deserves better than Charles. I think she can do better, even in doll form. I think she deserves
Hmm.
better.
She slaved away over a hot stove and made him dinner and made him cookies, and he was bitching about that and wouldn't even clean up. He expected her to clean up. That's rude. If you cook, the other person in the relationship should clean up. That should be law, but it's not.
That was a lot of dishes too. I was like, what did they fucking make? They're just dolls. Like, what?
True.
How much can they put back? Are they feeding the hostages?
Probably, probably. Or it could have been just the mess of the elderly couple that they ended up killing in order to steal the RV. Could have been
Yeah,
them.
that really upset me. The reveal of the dead old people. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, they just had bullets in their head.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't know why
boring.
that bothered me. No, it just their dead bodies like upset me. I found it. Uh, yeah, it shook me a little
Yeah,
bit.
me too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad. Like, damn, these people were probably just enjoying their retirement or something, and then this happened to them. Um,
Yeah, there's
but
something about not seeing how somebody died, like that just makes it so much worse for me. The implications, just my imagination taking over.
mhm.
Um, really unsettles me.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of The Strangers Chapter 2 in the beginning. They Have you seen that movie?
I haven't, but you can
Oh,
spoil it if you're gonna spoil it. Spoilers for Strangers Chapter 2, possibly.
yeah, somewhat. I won't give a lot away. Just there's a scene similar to that in the beginning if I'm remembering it correctly. Um so seeing that and just kind of having your imagination run wild, it's unsettling too. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, implication and using the audience imagination can almost be more effective than actually showing what happens. I really like that about horror. It's
Mhm.
really,
Definitely.
yeah, can create for some pretty upsetting moments. Um but yeah, and basically once they make it to Jersey in this ending though, and they're in the cemetery, I like how they have, I don't remember it like beat for beat and all the details, but I know they do like an exchange, like a hostage exchange
Mhm. Yeah.
situation in the field. And who is it? Is it Tiffany and the girl character? I forgot her name, but um
Jade, Katherine Heigl,
Jade.
she plays Jade. Yeah.
It's them, they're walking past each other in this exchange,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Chucky basically, he, I mean, he literally stabs the guy in the back.
Mhm.
Um
Um, I loved it because it was necessary. She's starting to see that, Chucky doesn't really give a shit about her. He only cares about himself. I felt really bad for her because clearly you can see she was so in love with this guy. She was basically infatuated with him to the point where she made sure she got the remains of him in doll form, resurrected his ass, and was doing everything for him essentially. Yeah, killing people she enjoyed too. Um, but she wasn't really with anyone else. Like she was loyal to him. So then
she had that
for
Damien guy at the beginning.
She did, but she did say that she didn't sleep with him.
I liked his death. Chucky just suffocating him under the pillow and he's screaming through their conversation.
That made me so fucking paranoid about facial piercings when I first saw that. Like, oh my god, if I get a facial piercing, Chucky's just gonna rip it out or someone's gonna rip it out. Oh,
That looked really painful. I had a labret piercing, and God, watching that, I was like, I kind of know what that would feel like a little bit. I can imagine it, and fuck, it
wait.
sucks.
Which part is or what is the labret piercing?
It's like
Oh,
right above
ow.
your
Okay.
chin, under
Oh
your
yeah,
lip.
duh. Sorry. That was
No,
basically
it's
it.
cool.
Um yeah, I had snake bites and um I kept I got into a fight with someone and yeah, that wasn't a good outcome.
Ooh, that
Yeah,
sucks. Yeah,
but I won the fight.
I like bit my labret a couple times, like snagged it in my teeth when I had first gotten it before I got like a
S-
shorter rod in there, and
Same.
yeah, that fuck, that sucks. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can imagine the pain, I assume, of what it would feel like to get one of those ripped out then.
Random side note, you have a pinhead shirt on or sweatshirt. It was
Mhm.
funny because my mom was I keep bringing up my mom, but she's a part of me with all the horror movie chat that I talk about.
Hell
Um
yeah.
when I had my snake bites, she wasn't a fan of them, but her being the most amazing woman ever, she didn't say that they looked bad. But one day I was talking to her and she's like, "Your piercings are sticking out. You look like Hellraiser." And I started laughing, like, "Well, you didn't say they looked bad or you didn't like them." So that just reminded me of that.
Nice. That's a good diss too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sick burn coming from Mama Chavez.
I know, right? That was great. But yeah, that death scene, and then the fact that this guy is in excruciating pain, he's chained up, and then he's getting suffocated, all of that together, and then him, Chucky, and Tiffany are just having a normal conversation as Chucky's just sitting on the pillow. That's just so morbid in itself. I love it.
I like that. I like seeing Chucky on top of things and like really getting a full scope of his size. I mentioned this in the first Child's Play, but I said I like seeing Chucky on the counter, you know.
Mhm.
I like
Mhm.
seeing him sit on the pillow. Uh there's like the scene of like him and Tiffany are sitting on like a bench in the back of a van for a lot of the movie. I like
Mhm.
seeing that. I just like seeing him on top of stuff.
They
You
look
know?
adorable when you see their actual size because in the movies, they're typically close up on them to give the feel of, okay, in a way, they're kind of like, I don't want to say larger than life for their character, but like you forget that they're tiny and easily kickable, showing or like based on how Katherine Heigl kicks Tiffany in the oven. So when you do see them back in like from an angle back and their actual size, I cannot talk. And I'm sorry if I sound horrible. My allergies are killing me today. Um when you just see them back in their normal size, they look cute.
Yeah, they do. Um
I'm sorry.
I
I went on and on. I could not figure out what I was trying to say just because again, I
no,
sound horrible.
I was just trying to think of a joke about the allergy thing. I was just gonna be like, you didn't have to tell the people that.
No,
Like
everyone
you
needs
said to
to
me on
know.
Green Room.
I forgot what I said. What did I say?
You were like, you didn't need to tell people that. People were probably like, hey, what are they talking about today?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm
I
hard
was
on
sick as
myself.
fuck when we
I
recorded
remember that
Green Room,
now.
though.
Yeah. But you didn't sound sick to me, honestly. And I just feel like I sound more dull than I usually do. Um, or I just feel winded, but I really can't breathe right now, so it's ridiculous.
Damn, dude. I don't
You
know.
just
You
can't win.
couldn't breathe just like Damien couldn't breathe under that pillow.
I know. I feel his pain. I'm experiencing that pain.
Yeah, you're like, I feel like Chucky's sitting on top of sitting atop my face.
Is that your favorite kill from this movie? Damien's kill? Or do you have a favorite kill from this movie?
That is probably my favorite kill. There's not a whole lot that I really loved. This movie really thrives on Tiffany and Charles interactions more than the spectacle and what?
I love how you're just sticking with Tiffany and Charles. You're just trying to make Charles happen.
It sounds cute.
No,
Like
it doesn't. Chucky sounds cute. Chucky is legendary. You don't say, "Oh, I'm gonna watch Chucky." Well, no one really says they're gonna watch Child's Play. They say Chucky.
I mean, I would yeah, I didn't realize for years that these movies were called Child's Play. I thought they were like Chucky 1, 2, and 3 and then Bride of Chucky. It
See?
it it would make sense. I do like Child's Play as a name though. But
Mhm.
I mean, it could be Charles Play. I think I've said that already.
Charles Play. That doesn't sound right. That sounds
Sounds
um
like Child's
like
Play. Charles Play.
that sounds like incorrect grammar if you say Charles Play.
Charles Play.
Yeah.
It's like a real, dumb person saying something. Charles Play, you know? Charles Play. I don't know. I can't do voices.
You
Um,
tried. You tried. You try more than me, so I can give you credit for that. You even did the Chucky chant, and I can only do that behind closed doors. I don't like having people hear me say that.
you like whispered it in the first episode, and I bumped it like way up. I'm like, people need to hear this.
Oh, you're so fucking rude. How dare you? I really gotta I really gotta chill on what I say on here. I'm sorry. Let me be nice to you again, or else our listeners are gonna think I'm mean. Which I am, and I've openly said that, so it's okay.
We've been pretty chill the past two episodes. We
Damn.
haven't
Then
thrown a
I
lot
need
of barbs at each other.
I need to step up my game then. I'm
Yeah,
slacking here.
you gotta hit the writer's room, come up with some more insults.
I know.
I do find the ending of this movie pretty funny where, that detective cop guy is like, "No
Yeah.
one's gonna believe this." Then he looks at them and he's like, "You 2 better get out of here." And I'm like, "What the fuck? That's not how, like, a police officer would why would he tell them to leave? Like, and then they need to be, like, interviewed and, like, you're telling them to flee a crime scene. That doesn't seem like good advice. No one's gonna believe you. Here, leave. Do something to make you look even more guilty.
I know, and it's like, okay, well, you said that they didn't do it. Okay, but what story are you going to give?
Be like, man, this like doll thing that was in the news those years ago is true. It's this grave has something to do with it. You guys were going to exhume his body, his fingerprints, were on the scene. Just be like, it wasn't these kids, something else is going on here. Like, try and frame it as the real Charles Lee Ray. Maybe he didn't die. There's like other routes you could take. Like, this body isn't his. Um, I don't know. But then Tiffany, that burnt ass Tiffany, I like the detective. I like the I like the detective poking her body. Um when it's laying there. And he does it a bunch. It's like, okay, dude,
I
it
know.
feels like you're violating her now at this point. Um, but she starts giving birth and
Oh
we
my
get
god.
it's like a precursor to Seed of Chucky. And man, it was a really good fucking ending. It left me really wanting more. I was like, fuck, Seed of Chucky. I've heard it's like such a piece of shit. But man, this was like such a good setup for it.
Uh,
You didn't
I
like the ending? The birth scene and the tooth? It reminded me of Alien a little bit, or like The
That's probably
Thing.
why I don't like it. Just little scenes like that make me uneasy. Um, I thought it was funny.
You
Yeah.
don't find the miracle of childbirth to be beautiful?
Hell fucking no.
Fair
Absolutely
enough.
not. Absolutely not. No, no, ew. Um, but oh crap, what was I gonna say? I thought it was funny how, you know, baby Chucky is born and has razor sharp teeth. Um, and basically bites the face of the detective. I thought that was amusing and like, okay, that's a funny cliffhanger. We're getting another Chucky movie. Awesome. But then yeah, going into Seed of Chucky, that's gonna be interesting.
I have a feeling the kid is gonna be like the main character, which I'm hoping is not the case. What's his name? Squirt?
No, his name is Shitface.
Really?
That's what they call him in the beginning, but then they change his name.
So we have a character we're gonna be referring to as Shitface for the entirety of an episode next week.
Or his government names that Chucky and Tiffany come up with, so it's
All
up
right.
to you.
I guess I'll have to see and determine that on
Yeah, I'm
my
trying not
own.
to give away so much, but yeah, I have a problem with doing that. I really gotta chill.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. Um, yeah, you got any other thoughts on Bride of Chuckster? Bride of Charles?
Bride of Chuckster, now it's Chuckster. I like the movie. I think overall, even though it didn't really have a solid plot, yeah, they're just trying to, get their souls into human bodies. Um, I enjoyed this film a lot. Like I can always feel good about rewatching the film because I know it's going to be a fun time. Like yeah, it's not an amazing slasher film, but I can at least know that when I put this on, I'll laugh about it. It'll put me in a good mood. It has a good soundtrack. Um, Chucky and Tiffany, adorable ass dolls. Um, Funny kills in here. Overall, it's a good movie and such an upgrade from part three.
I do. This just hit me too. Um, I find it kind of funny because horror movies are known for having like, a lot of sex scenes, And I find it
Mhm.
funny that this is our first horror movie to have a sex scene in it, and it's between 2 dolls. I don't think
Yeah.
we've gotten that yet.
No, actually, I just realized that too.
Yeah, so, yeah, we don't have to talk about that, but I just found that
It
that
sounds like
was
you wanna talk
interesting.
about it.
I just like that they didn't show us it. I like that it was very tastefully done.
I think it's funny how Jennifer Tilly suggested that her and Brad Dourif make little sex noises for that scene. Like, she said that in one of the interviews. Um, and it was just funny because I was thinking like, okay, they're making sex scenes. Like, does that mean they were actually looking at each other in their like boxes when they were doing the voices for that scene? If they were, it's kind of weird, but they probably were. They were having a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, they probably had
Literally.
fun with it. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, and then she I like, you know, them being like, "Do you have a rubber?" And he's like, "I'm all rubber. I thought you were plastic." I'm like,
Stupid
that's not
comedy in there.
that's not a bad bit. I also so I just saw Purple Rain in theaters the other day. There was a bit from Purple Rain I almost just right now remembered as being a bit from Bride of Chucky, and I was about to go on a whole thing from a bit that wasn't from this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, "Hey, they did like a weird Who's on First style bit," and I was like, "Oh wait, that was Purple Rain."
That would have been an interesting segue, and then me feeling like I'm completely lost.
But yeah, Bride of Chucky, this rules. I think it'll probably be in my top 3 when we do our Chucky rankings, our rankings of the Charles films. Um, yeah,
I
I'm
wonder if
really
people can audibly hear me sighing every time you say Charles, because I am.
Yep, I'd like put it in and I double it.
Okay, cool.
So it's just
As
you
long as people know.
repeatedly sighing.
As long as people know my frustration.
I
That is what
actually
matters.
I add more sighs into the episode in post production.
I'm
I'm like,
just
"Oh,
I'm so
Mercedes
frustrated.
would have sighed here if she was paying attention to what I was saying." And so I just put in a sigh. She wasn't
Wow.
she wasn't completely zoning out the useless dribble drabble.
Why do you
I'm
have to throw me under
zoning
the
out the
bus with me zoning out? Like, the
you admitting
listeners
you
don't
don't
need to know
listen to me.
that. The listeners don't need to know that I don't listen to you all the time. Wow. I see how it
They
is.
can they can tell. They're not listening either. They skip over my parts straight to your parts.
I thought we weren't throwing jabs at each other in this episode. What the fuck happened?
Is that a jab?
That
Is
is a
that
jab.
it's more of a ribbing, I'd say, a good old
No,
ribbing.
that's a jab. That's a jab. That's so a jab.
Had to get one in there. You know,
Now I have to think of what to throw back at you before we wrap up.
it's the Bride of Chucky episode. I couldn't keep the peace the whole time. Did
The
you have any
pressure's
wedding
on.
stories you wanted to share? Any stories of you being a bride? You murder
What
somebody? Did you get married in Vegas? Did they get married
N
in Vegas? No, they
uh,
didn't.
where no, because they were on their way to, New Jersey. They found, like, a random chapel that could, marry them. Kinda like how people will just go to a random chapel in Vegas and do that.
Hmm.
Um,
Has your husband
I mean
ever electrocuted you before and then brought you back to life in the form of a doll?
No, but I have electrocuted him. Um, in a way, in a way. It was a joke. No, when I do facials, um, there is an enhancement where you can add high frequency, and it's an alternating current from this electrode that you hold, and you have to plug in, obviously. And you just rotate it on the client's face, so it gets rid of bacteria um on the face, a lot of other benefits from it. It's great, but
This is a service you provide to everybody?
if they want it,
Uh,
A lot of times people they get it to help with circulation. It can help with hair growth, like promote hair growth. So men like to get it in their beard area, women like to
I
get
feel
it
like
by
I
their
need that.
eyebrows. All right, let's
Hel-
go. Let's do a
Help me out.
facial.
Help me out with a beard. I do need a facial. We got to get that set up.
Yes, everyone, if you are interested in having a facial or any type of skincare question you have, come to me, Merciless Aesthetics. Follow me on Instagram. Help me get Nick to do a facial and he can experience the high frequency.
Maybe I should do the facial and we should record a bonus episode on w- like how we talk about movies, do an episode on the facial.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
I would
It's
do that.
funny. It's funny too because one of the posts that I made some time back when I was really trying to do little cool posts from movies, I actually did one on American Psycho. I have Patrick Bateman. He's all bloody and he's screaming. But I put this is how my clients feel after extractions. So, like if I'm doing extractions, obviously they're in pain. They think they're a bloody mess, but they're not. They're okay. Everyone lives. Yeah, so it's a fun time. Get a facial.
He- Hell yeah. Do it. That's at
Yes.
Merciless. Is it Merciless underscore aesthetics?
Yes, merciless underscore aesthetics.
Nice. Um, so you electrocuted your husband.
Yes.
Okay, so how did that happen?
Oh, just when I'm working on anyone who has actually he's let me switch that just
Also, she won't
cuz
electrocute you either, listeners. She only
yeah.
electrocutes people that she loves dearly.
Yes, exactly. No, one of my buddies when he was getting a facial, I was explaining it to him and he was like, "So you're going to electrocute me?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like I'm trying to take this seriously." And he wants me to crank that thing up because it sounds like static. And it does you do feel like the current on your face. So, um no, I do not electrocute people, but that was similar to electrocuting someone.
You guys had just had an argument a little bit before. A Chucky
Yes.
Tiffany style argument. He like
Yes.
said you didn't do the dishes enough
Yeah.
and your cookies sucked. And you're
Oh,
like, I'm
he
gonna
would not
electrocute this
my
motherfucker.
husband would not dare say that the cookies that I bake suck because I specifically make them to his liking because me and him, we like those really
You
fat
got
cookies.
yeah.
Wait, what were you gonna say
I said
before I
you got
finish?
passionate
I
when
did.
you,
I
when
did.
your
I'm trying.
cookies got brought up.
Yes,
Keep
because of
going.
the no, because me and him, we like the really fat, soft cookies that have like a chocolate chip in each bite. And it has
The
taken me
Bloom High School
years.
cookies.
No. I forgot about those. Oh my God. I forgot about those cookies. Did you eat them?
I did, yes.
Yes, I think everyone did. They were like 50 cents, right? Or 75 cents?
Yeah, they were very affordable.
Those were a bargain. I love those things.
Mhm.
um, but no, it has taken me years to perfect them the way they are now. The thing is, me and him seem to be the only ones to enjoy them, plus his brother. He would get mad if weren't any cookies in the cookie jar. Um,
Wait,
but
people aren't enjoying cookies? Well, I wanna try one if I'm allowed to at some point.
yeah, I need
Um,
to make some. But
do you have a
there's a
comparison point for these cookies?
I'm trying to
Like
think.
crumble,
They
maybe not texture, but size and shape? Is it like a crumble cookie when you're saying like thick and big? Is it different?
Their thickness can be a little thicker than crumble cookies. They're just not as wide. They might be as wide as like my palm, which is not that wide. I
But
just
they're
we don't like
soft.
Yeah, they're soft, but people have complained that they are too big or too sweet, and I'm like, "It's a cookie,
These
though."
people should be thrown in jail.
That's what I'm saying. I was heavily offended by that one day, and I had told my husband, like, "I kinda don't wanna make these cookies." I think we were going to a family party,
Yeah, have we taken these cookies too far?
I know, I was like, "People don't really like them." He's like, "No,
Are
just
they
make
too
them."
soft?
And I think this was at my dad's house. He was like, "Why do you make these so big?" And I'm like,
What kind
"What
of
the hell?"
questions are these?
I know, and my nephew said the same exact thing, and at that point, I just kinda looked down in defeat, like, "Damn, I told my husband they don't like these," but he turned around and said, "She makes them that way because I like them that way," and I was like, "Oh my god, thank you. You
Yeah,
made
and
me feel so
he's
much better."
the only opinion in the room that matters, honestly. But,
Exactly.
like, who is complaining about too much cookie? What this is America.
I know.
Last I checked.
I I know. I felt so offended. So it's like I thoroughly enjoy the way they come out. So does he. The other people that get them, they don't really make a comment on them. I think one of his buddies did when we took him over to their house, but I don't know. I don't know. So now I need you to try one so we could see if they live up to it.
Yeah, I don't imagine me having a problem with a soft cookie. My issue with cookies are usually they're too hard. Um,
Thank you. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
that
like that. I don't vibe with that.
I don't like a crummy cookie. I
Yeah, I
like
don't wanna I don't wanna have a cookie that's like cutting up the gums in my mouth. Like I want an
yeah,
enjoyable cookie.
I like it to like almost melt in my mouth. My mom makes cookies and I replicate the way she makes them, but she just bakes them at 9 minutes, not for 9 minutes at like 350, I think. They're
Mhm.
smaller. They're not really big. They're like bite-sized cookies, but they're like
Mhm.
super soft. And she cooks them like most of the way in the oven and then like 2 minutes on the pan and then takes them off and lets them be a little bit melty and then
Right.
kind of like solidify on their own, and it creates this amazing like soft cookie that melts in your mouth. And
Mhm.
it's like I can't imagine soft cookie going bad. I mean, I would eat like a lava like melty cookie, like melted cookie dough. That sounds amazing.
Yes, thank
Like
you.
put that
So
on ice cream or something, like dairy
ooh,
free. I
yeah.
can't have dairy, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So anyone who complains about cookies, I just can't trust them.
God,
It's so rude.
is this the best part of our episode, this cookie
I was
talk?
think I was thinking
Fuck.
that we both got so passionate into this, like, we're both moving out of our seat, like, yeah, um,
I want a cookie now. I want
I
a
know.
soft cookie. I'm gonna see if I can make some before I gotta head out to this concert, but man, I want a fucking cookie.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh, yeah, you are
Oh,
going to a concert today, my bad, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I
No.
dragged on this conversation
No,
longer than I should
we
have.
made good time. This is like a perfect like yeah, we've made great time. We're gonna be wrapping up soon. I'm not even gonna be rushing out.
Dope.
I might have time to make some cookies. If we
Hell
have
yeah,
some, I'm going to be making some. If
hell yeah.
your next batch of cookies, if you're making some, if you have a little extra, for me, I'll swing by after work and grab some one day or whatever. I
Got
will
you.
try and you know, I if I will give them a like thoughtful praise. I'm not going to be one of these people that hears this negative horse shit about your cookies and, doesn't combat that. So, yeah.
Okay, that
But
makes me excited to make them now. Okay, cool.
yeah. This is also a good opportunity. If you've wanted to poison me, this is a good backdoor right into that route. I'm setting it up.
I mean, I can't poison you. You're the heart of our pod.
I more like the liver, I'd say. All the toxins filter out through me.
The liver of the podcast. I
Yeah.
don't like the way that sounds. I don't know. Pick a different organ.
Lungs. I can. How about lungs? How about we each get a lung?
You be the lungs, I'll be the skin.
The skin. You
Yes, the
know,
largest organ of the body. What I mess with every day. People's skin.
fair
I will
enough.
be the skin.
Yeah, that was Bride of Chucky. I was gonna do a wedding bells singing thing like ba da da da. I don't want to do that though. Maybe I'll end the episode with wedding bells, like a creepy horror version of wedding bells for our Bride of Chucky
Ooh,
episode.
that
And
would be
then
dope.
anytime we cover a Bride of movie, which there might only be one more, Bride of Frankenstein might be the only other one, but
Mhm.
I'll bring it back for that.
All
Um
right, dope.
Yeah, so watch me not even do that. I'm
No.
gonna hear this part as I'm editing it and be like, "Fuck, I forgot to do that," and then I'm gonna have to put it together last minute. Um,
It can happen. It can happen.
yeah. So, um, yeah, guys. Hope you have a good Monday and we've been Morbid Curiosities.